When I last saw you, I was in Paris for the World Singles Cup and was having a rough time. I'd come within points of winning the Intercontinental Cup, but had fallen on the finish line and was extremely disappointed about it. We spent the next day exploring Paris, walking around the city centre, which is gorgeous, and visiting the Louvre as well. I got to training on Monday morning and looked in my racket case to get my racket out for the session and found that it was gone and I had no idea what I'd done with it. I always put my racket back in its case when I finished, so I was very surprised that it wasn't there. Eventually I worked out that I'd forgotten my racket in Paris. The umpires come and take your racket directly after you've finished playing, take it off to be tested, and I had interviews after the match, signed autographs, and just completely forgot that they'd taken it off me. I had 3 important league matches coming up the next weekend and was panicking about what to do. My reserve racket is supposed to be identical. It's exactly the same blade, but it's actually quite a bit faster than my normal racket. And I wasn't confident about using it for the league matches. If anything, during my time here in Austria, I'm leaning towards using a slower racket rather than a faster racket, so I wasn't keen on using the faster one. Over the last few weeks I've been testing out different test rackets for the new line of William Henzell rackets that's coming out soon. I'd really liked one of the blades and decided to take the plunge and use the racket for my league matches. It's not something I like to do just to pull new equipment out and use them for something as important as the league matches, but I didn't really have a choice. I wasn't sure if my racket would turn up in time for the league matches. It didn't, so I was lucky that I played with that racket for the week and at least got used to it before my league matches. We played 3 of the top teams in the Austrian league, so many of the players that I played against were the top players in the league as well. I had one of my most successful weekends of league ever, winning all 9 of my singles matches. A lot of the players were of a similar level to me, so it was extremely satisfying to have those good wins, and even more satisfying after the disappointing weekend I'd had before in Paris to come out and put in such a good, strong, even performance over 3 whole days. I had more racket trouble during the match on Friday night. I was playing against Gerold from Hungary, and in the 5th set he pushed the ball half long to my forehand. Now the ball may have been short or it may just have been off the end, but my stroke hit the end of the table and my rubber split badly. Now normally in that situation you're not allowed to continue using the damaged racket, and I would have had to have changed to my spare racket, which I wasn't happy with anyway. Fortunately for me, the umpire didn't ask to look at my racket and didn't ask me to change, so I kept on using the damaged racket and went on to win the match. Now we got back, it was a away match, and we got back to the hotel at about 1:30 in the morning. So I wasn't confident that I'd be able to use the racket the next day, so it was just a matter of finding one of my old rubbers that I'd used at previous matches, stripping the glue off the back and then re-gluing the rubber, hoping that it would be good enough to use for the rest of my league matches. Not a situation I was very happy to be in, and I was worried that the rubber was going to be just too old and not have the spring and the speed that I need. On Sunday I played against Ding Yi, who's originally from China but has played for Austria for many years. He's a former top 10 player in the world but is into his 50s now. His footwork has obviously suffered with age, but his reflexes are still lightning fast. There's not many players who are faster and quicker in the backhand to backhand diagonal than I am, but he was beating me there. He won the first 2 sets 11-7, 11-3, and I was copping a real beating out there. I turned the match around, eventually winning 14-12 in the 5th set after a few nervous points at the end of the match. Another highlight was my win against Ferenc Pasi from Hungary. He played in the highest division in Germany for many years and was a good player in the Hungarian national team as well. He's usually one of the top 2 or 3 players in the Austrian league every year, so I really rate that as one of my better wins for the season. I've now got about another 6 weeks until my next competition match. It's a long break over Christmas and New Year, so I can fit in a lot of strenuous training. I feel that my strength and my footwork has improved considerably during the last 2 months in Austria. I'm able to use more body rotation on my shots as I'm getting to the ball earlier, and I'm able to keep my body position lower, my knees bent and my shoulders forward. It's allowing me to play stronger shots even when I'm out of position and under pressure, and that's extremely important skill to have. One of my coaches here, Richard Prauser, who was the head German national coach for a number of years, has strongly encouraged me to diversify my range of serves. And that's both the position at the table that I'm serving from and also the combinations of spins that I'm using. My tomahawk serve is a good serve and it's probably still my best serve, but I found it very useful, especially during last weekend's league matches, to be able to pull out different serves at different times of the match, depending on how the match is going tactically and how my opponent has adjusted to my serves and my tactics.